I take yourself off mute. Say
Morning.
hi.
You got to give me a chance to turn my microphone on.
I'm eating my leftover potatoes from Easter because I forgot I had them.
7:55 in the morning here.
Well, it's 11 here.
It's
And
never too early for potatoes, apparently.
it's never, first of all, never too early for potatoes. It's just cheesy potatoes. Hmm. Oh my God. My life is chaos right now. I got to make a to-do list because I just can't deal. Hold on. I got to let the Matt in. Um, Julia's micromanaging things again. I'm like, I'm gonna freak out. Hi, Matt. Oh wait, you're muted still.
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great, other than the fact that I got my new shirt on and I realized that I blend in with the back wall. So good thing I have a tan.
Right? What would you do without it? If you're pale like me, it'd be bad.
Golf in Las Vegas and 10,000 steps outside. It does, and sunscreen. Come on, right, Donovan? Let's go.
Highly recommend it.
All of the above. Golf, sunscreen, and 10,000 steps outside. Let's go.
Although I was in Vegas and it actually snowed on us trying to play golf. It was not.
Dude, so we moved to Las Vegas 18 months ago, 20 months ago. And we moved from Northern Virginia for like golf, weather, outdoor quality of life, like the whole nine yards. It has snowed and flurried here more than it has in Washington, D.C. Like I cannot believe how I think it's an anomaly, but I can't believe it's this. I'm gonna use the word chilly, and Nicole's gonna be like, I'm gonna come across this Zoom and scream at you.
Right.
But I can't believe how like chilly it is outside at the 1st of April. Like you would be shocked on like you almost have to wear like a sweatshirt outside today.
Oh, you poor
Almost.
things. Oh,
Almost.
you poor guys.
Yeah. She's probably very
I
upset that
mean,
It's
I'm in
like,
shorts right now. She does not like that.
yeah,
but I do
Donovan and
have
I,
I'm not gonna lie. I will show you I do have shorts on.
He's got on shorts. See? See?
Yeah.
Donovan and I
It was
can't
okay.
talk about the weather because he's in California and I'm here and it's I don't know, 30 degrees outside. It's actually not that bad. Let me see. What's the temperature outside? Probably 40 something.
Where are you, Donovan?
I'm in Palm
42.
Springs.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Supposed to be 81 today.
My wife goes, "Hey, we should go to Palm Springs." And I'm like, "Hey, that's a great idea."
Then you can go meet up with Donovan. There you go.
Oh
What
no.
up? I met a lot of people in Cabo that are in the Palm Springs market
They're not as cool as Donovan, I'll tell you that much.
for sure.
I'm letting people in here. Trying to like hurry up and eat. I just got back from the gym, trying to eat something really quick. Donovan, don't judge me that I'm eating cheesy potatoes after just getting back from the gym. My leftover potatoes from Easter, and they cannot go to waste. Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
We are waiting to kind of get started here. I'm trying to multitask. I got so many things going on today.
Feels like a Monday.
Well, you just got back from a trip too, so I know you're stressing.
Yeah, I made a to-do list.
I literally just told Donovan, I was like, I gotta write out a to-do list because I'm losing my mind right now.
Yeah, for sure. And then I keep getting sidetracked doing other things.
Same.
Mhm.
I did go to the gym this morning though, so I did that. So I feel good about that.
Good.
And I gotta, but then you gotta pay for it because you were away from your desk for an hour and a half.
Yep. Unfortunately. But at least you went.
I did. I went yesterday too, 2 in a row.
That's awesome.
All right, I'm gonna keep letting people in here. We'll get going in a minute. Hello, Skylar and Lindsay and Katie.
I feel like it's been so long that I've been in here that I want to say hi. How are you, Nicole? And
I'm good.
everybody?
How are you?
Good. Surviving.
Where's your face, girl?
You don't want to see it.
Oh, I
promise.
always want to see your face.
I'll try and be there on Wednesday, but no faces right now.
All right, that's fair enough. I'm glad you're here. I need to put the link in our other group chat. I forgot all about it. I started to, and then I got sidetracked. Shocker. We got 2 in the waiting room. All right. All right. Hi, everybody. Let me 11:03, not too bad, not too bad. Most of you guys showed up on time. Nikki, side note, did you see the message or the email about meeting with the VA at 2?
Yes, I did.
Are you available or no?
Let me see. I think I could probably be there.
Perfect.
I should be able to.
Sorry, I'm trying to scarf down food before we start.
You're making me hungry.
Of course, it's recording. All right. Well, I am super excited because we have Matt on today. So we saw Matt speak at the One Big Fire event, the EXP event in Cabo. And I think you were my favorite speaker of the event. I thought it was really good. You did a really good job talking about finances. And I feel like that is something that, in this industry, it's one of our biggest concerns, but I think it's talked about the least, I would say. I feel like everyone's so worried about leads and all this other stuff that they're not really thinking about how to save money or how to pay yourself and how to be profitable. I know that you do a lot of stuff with like profit first, right? So we actually tried to do we started a book club, and that was one of the first books that we read. And I got, I don't know, 5 chapters in, 3 chapters in, something like that. And I got so stressed out, I had to stop reading it. Because I was like, I can't do this. Like my brain just cannot wrap around how to do all this right now. And I'm excited to hear what you have to say because I think everyone needs to get their finances right. We have some newer agents on here that need to start on the right foot. So I am super excited to have you on. So if you want to take over and do your intro, if you have like slides to share, I can make you co-host so you can share whatever works for you.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Nicole, for having me on. Yeah, if you can allow me to share, that would be great.
Yep, I just gave you co-host.
You are not the first person on planet Earth to get 3 or 4 chapters into Profit First and then throw in the challenge flag and like, how do I do this? Or like, I'll just go back to doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Mike actually talks about that in the book, that he made it so heavy on the front end because most people don't finish the book. And so he's like, hey, if most people are going to quit, I at least want them to get the stuff, get the juicy part, and then quit. And then, maybe eventually hire a profit first professional. So I appreciate you all. Who else did I see or meet in Cabo? Nikki, were you in Cabo? Nicole? Julie was in Cabo. Nikki Wolf, were you in Cabo as well?
No,
I was not,
You were not in
unfortunately.
Cabo.
you should have been there.
I know.
Awesome. Not self promo, Cabo 2025. Be there.
Yes.
100%
I plan on it.
be there. And we're going to talk about we're going to actually talk about today on some of the things that you can do today and every month moving forward so that Cabo 2025 is so easy. As Nicole mentioned, my name is Matt Plumer, financial coach for real estate agents, entrepreneurs, and couples. And what we're going to talk about today is a journey and a framework around where you are today, where you want to go. We're going to talk financial transformation. And we're going to talk about some of the things that I've uncovered over the last thousands of conversations around real estate agents and their money. And at the end, if it's okay with you, I have a small gift for each and every one of you that stay on through this. So this is only going to take about 4.5 hours. We're going to talk about budgets and spreadsheets, and I promise you I'll make it fun. Okay. Let's see.
I would literally die. Like I would literally die if that was the case.
Hey, there are times where people actually sit down with us, kneecap to kneecap, for 3 or 4 hours, and we knock it all out at one time. It's actually a lot of fun. Okay, so what we talked about today, what we're going to talk about today is how to guarantee stress-free wealth as a real estate agent, even if you have a wildly inconsistent income and potentially financially disorganized. Now, and we're also going to talk about some of the financial mistakes that real estate agents make. Now, I did not roll out of bed and end up on this Zoom call and just osmosisly have thousands of conversations. It actually started 12 years ago when my wife and I were in marriage counseling. I was 300 pounds, alcoholic, addictive sports gambler, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Did not have an income problem. However, I had a cash flow problem. I had an eating problem. I had a drinking problem. And the list goes on and on. And my rock bottom moment, which I don't believe was at the bottom of my world, it was just the bottom of when, it actually, the rock, if you didn't know, the rock actually hits the bottom and it can actually bounce up. And so I was faced with a question from our marriage counselor 12 years ago. And he asked me, after hearing me for 30 minutes, bitch and moan and complain about all the things that my wife did or we didn't do or blah, blah, blah. And he said, Matt, we've talked for 30 minutes. And can I ask you one question? Can you go 90 days without a drink? You see, we were in marriage counseling, not necessarily because of my drinking, but because of all of the things. And when I said, hey, Mike, I can probably do that, but she'll still be the same person that she is today, I realized that I was looking external, not internal. And so that decision to say, hey, I don't know if I can stop drinking. I don't want to stop drinking. I don't even want to stop smoking. I don't want to stop gambling, but I knew I needed to lose weight because I didn't fit on the couch. And so who's had that moment in their life where they're like, they do some reflection and you're like, I just don't feel comfortable. Whether it's around physically or mental or financially or whatever, but we have that moment where it's just like, something's not right. And you see, he said, I don't know if you're going to stop drinking or not, but I will tell you this, if you do not make small changes or even drastic changes, you've got 12 months or you're going to be dead, divorced, in jail, or broke. And at that moment, I knew that it was no longer Melinda's fault. I started looking internal. And I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to stop drinking. I don't want to stop eating, or I don't want to stop, doing the things that I enjoy, but I can control what I put into my mouth. So as I stepped on the scale and I was 293 pounds, my only goal was to see something in the 280s. And as I saw 289 and 286 and 283 and 279, I started stacking up these small wins, and I earned enough courage to not drink for a few days in a row. But then every Thursday we would show up to Mike's office and I wasn't 7 days sober. I was only 2 days sober, or 1 day sober, or no days sober. Literally had a drink the night before I go to pick up my coach's office, right? And I'm like, talk about lack of accountability, right? And myself. And so I had that another little small moment. I was like, I'm just pissing away days of sobriety because I can't make a decision. And so on May 19th, I had my drink. I pissed away 6 or 7 days of sobriety, and I said, I'm never doing this again. And on May 19th, 2012, I had my last drink. And then I showed up and I was 6 days sober. And then I was 13 days sober. And I was 20 days sober. And I made it through Memorial Day, and I made it through my birthday. And God forbid, I made it through a member guest golf tournament without a drop of alcohol, and I hit 30 days. Like, you talk about a world-class accomplishment for a golfer and an alcoholic to make it through a member guest with no drinks. And there's coolers on every hole. And so those wins started stacking up and stacking up and stacking up, and I kept losing weight and not drinking, and I was able to not place a bet. On June 2nd, 2012, my whatever birthday it was, I placed my last bet. Loser on the San Antonio Spurs. Damn you, Tim Duncan. And so that compound effect led to losing 100 pounds and becoming sober, saving my marriage, and creating enough space for me to earn or have the courage to go forward and accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior. And then we found ourselves on the couch again. 90 days of cash. Very little projected income coming in, and having to take out our second 401k loan in as many years. We were $551,000 in debt. Car loans, student loans, IRS, owed money to the 401k, owed money to insurance companies because we borrowed against life insurance policies, personal loans, timeshares, all of it. We owed everybody. And we went on another journey to start unpacking it. We realized we were spending $14,000 and making $8,000 a month. There was no way for us to get out of this hole unless we started at the bottom. Could we pay off all of this debt in a few years? Maybe. But I knew we could figure out how to pay off $1,000 a month. And so we did a budget that took a weekend to complete. It was like a weekend summit to figure out March's budget. 2014. And for 40 months, we put a downward pressure on our lifestyle. We still did some things, but we said no to a lot. We lowered the water, what I call lowering the water, sacrifice, delay gratification. And I didn't have a way to raise the bridge. Now, I sold everything. I think my record was 12 1099s in a year. If you could sell it, if I could get my hands on it and you could buy it, I would sell it. And we eliminated $551,000 and did our debt-free scream on the Dave Ramsey Show 2017. We're debt-free. We didn't owe anybody any money. Good news, we didn't owe anybody any money. Bad news, we had $5,000 to our name. And I still didn't have a way to raise the bridge until I found the world of real estate. And I helped ourselves unpack all of this debt. And I get my first commission check, and it's getting ready to come in. All right. Keep in mind, I've helped people lose weight. I've helped people, over this time pay off debt and get started and do a budget and have a conversation with their spouse. But I didn't have any way to make any money or really to go impact people. And I had my first commission check coming in. It was $10,000. And I'm like, this is what I'm going to go do with this money. But before I did it, I went and asked about 3 or 4 people in the market center that I was in Reston, Virginia. And I said, if you had 10 grand coming in, what would you do with it? As professionals and real estate agents that sell tens of thousands of houses over the course of your life, and you make all this money, what would you do with it? I didn't hear I would go hire a coach or go increase my marketing or invest in real estate, I heard pay last year's taxes and next month's car note. And at that moment, I knew I was going to go change the real estate industry forever because the buyer and seller was no longer my client. Nicole was my client. Julie was my client. Angie was my client. Because I can go help the real estate agent go understand how much money they can go make and then what to go do with it. Because at some point, do you guys want to stop selling real estate? Who signed up to sell real estate for every day for the rest of their life? No, we started real estate for freedom and fun and the seeing the smiles on people's faces, and then obviously being able to use those rewards to go build our own wealth, whether it's real estate or the stock market or lifestyle or whatever it is. We didn't do it to be strapped to a phone and showing time in the MLS. So I went on a journey over the next 6 years and had thousands of conversations, and here's what we uncovered. Real estate agents don't make as much as they think. We spend more than we care to admit. We have bubbles coming up on Zoom. We spend more than we care to admit, which generally leaves us behind on taxes and or retirement. Who has a retirement account? They're like, we are on track to hitting our financial goals. Skylar, my guy. It's just common in the industries that we just don't have it. Most people don't. Most people are behind on taxes. And so the two things that bring the most stress and anxiety for real estate agents are inconsistent income and financial disorganization. So when we can go help fix those two things, can we start to unpack and see down the road of time that we can actually exit this transaction treadmill? See, the number one mistake that real estate agents make is they don't know when they're going to stop selling real estate. Julie, one of the things I want you and I to uncover is when is your throw the phone in the ocean moment, and you don't have to take a listing. You don't have to show the buyers this weekend on Easter. You don't have to do it because you have a plan. You know how many houses you are away from selling real estate. One of my friends and who is also a client, we walked through, he's like, hey, I'm going to go sell this many houses and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And I'm like, cool, tell me about that. And he started unpacking it, and we unpacked his financials, and we asked a few other questions, and we realized that he was only 60 houses away from paying off his house. What a feeling. How many houses do you have to sell if your house is paid off? Interesting. How many houses do you have to sell if you have a predictable income, whether it's on a team or real estate or whatever, right? You don't have to sell as much to hit the target. But the problem is most agents don't know when that is and what that looks like. What do you want and when do you want it? A couple of the top questions I get: how did you lose weight? How did you become sober? And why did you move from Reston, Virginia to Las Vegas? And how did you do it? Now, we won't get into the Reston to Las Vegas but the principles will do it. We'll share it. Another question I always get all the time is, how did you go on all of the trips and the vacations while you were paying off debt? Who here thinks about budget and paying off debt is like a restrictive and a limited belief and mindset? Yeah, I did too, until I did it. And then I started creating a relationship with it. And then I brought my wife alongside, and we became yoked together, shoulder to shoulder. You see, whether you're married or you have a partner or you have a business partner, when you are aligned shoulder to shoulder, you can pull 3 times as much weight. An ox can pull about 8,000 pounds. If that ox has a partner behind it, they can pull 16,000 pounds. More bubbles. I love it. But if they're yoked together, shoulder to shoulder, going in the same direction, 24,000 pounds. So while we're going to be talking about this, I want you to start thinking about, who can I bring along on this journey? Is it my business partner? Is it my best friend? Is it my coach? Am I missing a person that can help me unpack this and walk down this journey? So there's 3 steps to a transformation. We've talked about weight loss. We've talked about sobriety. We've talked about, money. They're all the same. Health, time, money, relationships, all have these same principles when it comes to a transformation. We're going to talk about your financial transformation today. Awareness is step 1. Awareness is the very first step in any transformation. Awareness is just simply acknowledging what are the facts and the truths that exist today in your life. That's all it is. This is how much money I have. This is how much I weigh. I got on the scale today. It's just the truth. 212 pounds. I really wanted 210, but it was 212. Okay, cool. Awareness. This is how much money I have. This is how much debt I have. This is how many dates my wife and I have gone on in the last 90 days. This is how much time I think I'm working in my business. This is how much time I'm actually working in my business. This is how much I drank last week. This is how much I spent last month. I have it printed out right here. Bank statements from the last 90 days. I'm just going to go through this and just revisit how much I actually spent and made. No judgment, but I'm going to also go through here and see, like, what is this? Do I need it? Does it serve me? That's it. I'm just going to become aware of how much money I spent last month or last quarter or last year. Awareness. Awareness is just the facts. And the facts are truth, and the truth will set you free. Second step is the decision. Right? Awareness, your 300-pound moment. Your can you go 90 days without a drink decision. Hey, next 90 days, I'm not going to use a credit card. I'm only going to use cash in my debit card. I have both. This is the decision I want some of you to make today. I'm pulling out my props. 1 second. Cash. You guys want an experiment? You want more money in 90 days? Do this. Go debit card and cash versus credit card. Credit card, debit card, or cash. Here's why. Nicole and I go out to dinner. We're in Cabo. We go to Shambo across the street from the resort. And I have 75, 80, 85, 90, 90. I have $100 in my pocket. That's all I have, $100. Or I've got $25,000. How much money am I going to spend on dinner? I have 100, or I have 25 grand. Do I get a burger or steak? One side, 2 sides. Diet Coke, bottomless margaritas. Nicole, I don't drink. Whatever. You see the point? You're going to go to the thing. If you only have this, you're still going to eat. You're just going to eat differently. You're going to buy shoes differently. Or you're going to hire an admin differently. It's not just about personal. So the decision that so many of you can make today, if you're using credit versus debit, is switch to debit for 90 days. It's my challenge to you. We talk about that in the wealth department. It's my group coaching program of what are the things that you can do. Move things over to your debit card. Move things over to cash only. Right? What decision do you need to make based on what you just became aware of? Doesn't matter to me what it is. Just want you to do it. Right? In that moment of awareness, getting ready to make a decision, know that it's okay to be where you are. It's not okay to stay there. Julie's asking fighting words and sky miles.
I do it for the miles too, Julie. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. We can compare bank accounts and mileages at the end of 12 months. Awareness, decision, and the last is intentionality. How are we going to track it? What is the relationship that we're going to do? One of the things that we talk about in my group coaching is in one-on-one coaching in our groups is what are the habits that you have to create along the way? The number one habit is tracking your money. Around money is tracking your money. I think one of the number one habits around, if you want to lose 10 pounds is how many steps are you getting every day? And your awareness moment of that, if you don't like the way that the number says on the scale, is just look at your iPhone and see how many steps did your iPhone or your watch track in the last 30, 60, 90 days. Whatever it is, increase it over the next 90 and watch what happens to the scale. And just make sure that you do it. Whatever it is. Intentionality. Your bank account. Just look at your bank account every day and just write down the number. Because I will promise you this, if you don't track it, it doesn't matter. If it's not worth tracking, it just doesn't matter to you. So if it matters, I want you to track it. Your health, your date nights, your money, your closings, your conversations, your appointments, your ratios. One of the things I'm starting to track are my Instagram stories and the feedback from them. How many views? Who's my interaction? My followers? Things that I didn't even know that I needed to track until I hired a coach that said, "Hey, dude, what is this, this, and this?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And she's like, "Great. You ready to make a decision?" I'm like, "Yeah, great." And now I need some intentionality around it. How many views do you get a day on your stories? What stories get 6, or get 4, you get 100 or 500 or 1,000 views? And what stories just get the fast forward? Nicole, you're no longer allowed to hit the right corner of your phone on my stories. You have to hold it and read it and watch it. That's my fee for coming today, is that everybody has to watch all of my Instagram stories from here on out.
All right, deal.
Right? Awareness, decision, intentionality. Okay? Awareness, decision, intentionality. Now, 5 financial mistakes that agents make. Number 1, don't have a plan. When are we going to exit the transaction treadmill? Number 2, understanding our cost of living, understanding how much life costs, and paying off debt. The third is understanding and not having a path of money. And this is what Nicole and I started our conversation with this morning, is around profit first. Secret number 1 to creating stress-free wealth is profit hacking. Who here runs their business or has reviewed a profit and loss statement before? Great. Dan, you had your hand up first. Where's the first place you look on your profit and loss statement?
I look at the bottom.
The bottom.
Yeah.
So does everybody else, Dan. Pro tip, just to let you know a little secret, everybody else looks there too. We don't even care how much money we made. How much money do we have left?
Yep.
Okay. So what happened there was that we got paid $1 million. We sold a bunch of houses, got paid $1 million, and then all of the expenses got sucked out of that $1 million, and we're left with 300 grand. Using it as an example. And Dan's like, $300,000 net income, great, yes, killed it, let's go. 2 questions. Where's the 300 grand? And where's the 100 grand that you owe on the 300 grand to the government? And I normally get this emoji. Don't know. Because what has happened is the same thing that we've been taught year over year, decade after decade, is sales minus expenses equals profit. That's what we were taught in school. That's what brokers teach us. If they teach us anything, that's what's just pounded into our heads by accountants. Sales minus expenses equals profit. And in that scenario, who actually receives money first?
Government.
Well, in the sales minus expenses equals profit, who actually gets the money? The business got paid, right? But before you got paid and got your 300 grand, who else got paid?
All the vendors.
All the vendors. Thanks, Bill. Free sucker for Bill. Everybody else got paid before the business owner did. Does that make any sense? So what profit first does is it takes it and flips it. Sales minus profit equal expenses. And we're going to carve off the 300 grand plus before your admin gets paid, before the government gets paid, before Zillow gets paid, before transaction coordinator gets paid. And every deal, we're going to siphon off a little bit of money for you, the business owner. And every transaction from here to eternity is profitable, regardless if it's 2 grand or 200 grand. There's a system that I teach that helps you do that stress-free. Even though the book creates chaos and stress because you have to set up so many bank accounts, right? Hack number 2, saving and investing hacking. Saving and investing hacking. Taking money that we make today and saving it or investing it for the future. Too many times agents are making money in the month of April. Today's the 2nd of April. And have a closing on the 15th that they're using to pay for March or April 1st bills. And this is where, and then when we don't have a consistent income, this is when chaos happens and people use credit or go back into debt or have to go get a second job or whatever it is. And so what my challenge to you is take some of the money that you're going to make this month from your closing on the 15th and move it and allocate it to a somewhere safe, somewhere else, and say, this is for July. This is for my EXPCon ticket. This is for my flight. This is for the Cabo ticket. This is for Christmas. This is for the 60-year-old version. Something that's not this month. Because when all of our money comes in this month and we spend, not allocate, spend, we're always going to have to sell a house. And you're stuck and you're trapped on the transaction treadmill forever. And so when we can siphon off a little bit of profit, the owner gets paid first, and we can take a little bit of that money and we can move it down the line of time and add age to our money, we can start to see further. We can start to see how we can go build more predictable income. Like, hey, I have 3 closings this month. And that's 30 grand. Great. I only need 10. I'm going to take the other 20 and move it down the line of time. Great, I have another 3 closings. I only need 10. I can take 20 and move it down the line of time. Now we have 40. Can you see now how money, our greatest wealth building tool, which you now are starting to grab a hold of, which is your income, can start going towards opportunities rather than going to all of the obligations. Stress-free wealth, money going towards opportunities versus obligations. And the last secret, you knew it was coming. Julie, you knew it was coming. We're gonna have to talk about the B word. Budget hacking. It's a bad word in most families. It's a bad word. It's just a curse word in most households because most households treat it like a restriction. It's not in the budget, not in the budget, not in the budget, not in the budget, not in the budget. Versus, hey, honey, I would like to go buy a new chair. This is Melinda saying to Matt, I would like to go and buy a new patio set. I'm like, great. What's every dollar say? It's not my fault. We had a conversation 3 days ago that said this is what we were going to do with $22,000. Patio set never was part of the conversation. So all a budget is telling your money what to do before you spend it. This is how much money that our household, this is how much money my business makes. This is what I'm going to go do with it. As it comes in, I'm going to put it here, 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 and here. Part of that here is my household. Here's what we're going to do with this money. We're going to give, save, and spend. There's only 3 things you can do with money. Give, save, and spend. That's it. That's all you can do. There's no fourth. So being a business owner is telling your money what to do before you do it. Being an adult is honoring what you said you were going to do. Now, this isn't flat, this isn't firm, this isn't steel. Roll with the punches. You have a little less income, like maybe there was a referral fee on the $10,000 and you only got 7 grand instead of 10. Maybe a closing went from the 10th to the 25th. Roll with the punches. However, it's not necessarily, I want you to be flexible, firm but flexible, not steel. I'll pause there. What have been some of the key takeaways, key thoughts, the thing that you wrote down in the last 27 minutes? Sorry, 40 minutes. Put it in the chat. You can come online or just put it in the chat. What's been the one thing you said, hey, this is the thing I've heard, this is the thing I'm going to go do when I get off this Zoom? We've talked about a lot. Review your bank statements. Look, how can I take profit first? Debit card versus credit card. That's one of the easiest. Right? In this day and age in 2024, I encourage you, if something resonated when you said, when I was talking about cash and debit versus credit, find something in 30 days to walk in and just rip off some 5s and 10s and 20s to buy at the grocery store. I promise you, if you walk into the grocery store with a $50 bill or a $100 bill, you will buy groceries different. 100%. Prove me wrong. If we don't track it, it's not important. Love it. Thanks, Dan. You want to get a hold of your money, just go buy one thing with cash for $100 and you will change how you spend money. Go buy a car with cash. You buy differently. Right? Those are a lot of zeros on that one. But just go buy some freaking, this, you know what $50 is? This is a pack of chicken, 4 avocados, and a dozen eggs. And then go realize how much. By the way, this is free. 2018. America spent 2.5 to 2.6 billion dollars on Easter candy. This year, 5 billion. Twice as much. I don't think we have an economic problem. People are still spending money on candy. They can go buy houses. We just have to have a different conversation with them. Okay. As we wrap, and I want to open up this to some questions. If, Matt, I hear you, budgeting, debit cards, credit cards, conversation with spouse, I get it. But what if all of this did was just help you get more organized and created a consistent income? Would it be worth it? Like if you just knew where the money was coming and going from, would it be worth it to set up a system for finances? What if you were profitable on every transaction? Would it be worth it? Every deal you knew was going to be profitable. What if we removed the stress of paying taxes on time forever? Would it be worth it to have an account that just collected your tax money? And if you're reading this, when you're reading this and you're hearing it, put in the comments, yes, it would be worth it. Right? Which one of these resonates with you? Right? What if you didn't owe anybody any money? Nicole, what could you do if you didn't have any payments?
Definitely be saving more for my daughter's college. We could be doing trips together, lots of different things.
Yeah. Put in the chat, if you didn't have any payments, what could you do? Take 10 seconds. No payments. What could I do? I could travel more. Right? I could give more. I could maybe eat out at better restaurants, or I could travel in business class versus economy. The other thing is, imagine if you had a predictable income and no debt. You could do anything you wanted. I mean, what couldn't you do? If you had a predictable income and no payments. Save more for daughter's future. Do more of what I want. Nikki, I want you to put your oxygen mask on first. Flip that around. My encouragement. Invest in more real estate. What if you were able to save your first or your next $10,000? What if you just had straps of $100 bills in your nightstand just because? What's the interest rate? That's one of the things I get is like, I can get so much more money if I put it in the market or put it in a high yield savings account. What's the interest rate, Julie, on you getting 9 hours of comfortable sleep every night because there's 100 grand sitting underneath your bed?
Think I can put a figure on that.
Yeah. I mean, it does, like, the interest rate, there's not, the button of heart and risk is not on this calculator. We can't, as real estate agents, we cannot have enough cash. Figure out what your number is and let's go run and go stack it up. Because as we go, and this says EXP revenue share, it can say anything. This was a slide from a presentation I did with agents from EXP. I know there's agents from other brokerages here. It's not necessarily revenue share. It could be real estate, right? It could be your spouse's income. It could be I live on my spouse's income and I take my real estate income to become a multimillionaire. But if we did all of this and then added savings hacking to it, and you invested $100 or $1,000 a month for a decade at the average rate of return of the S&P 500 for the last 4,000 years that it's been in existence. It's actually like 100 years, but that was exaggeration. It's $200,000. And it's $1,000. What if we invested 2,500? It's $5,000. $5,000 or 500,000. $5,000's $1 million. 10 grand's $2 million. So there are people on this call that have a shorter runway than others. Can you see now why it's important to understand when am I done selling real estate? So we can go out, turn back, figure out how we're going to get to the mountaintop. 10 grand a month invested for 20 years, $7 million. What if I'm half wrong and it's 3.5? Can you figure it out from there? Yeah. So how many houses would you have to sell that you could invest 10 grand a month for a decade plus? Understanding the path of money, doing a budget, having a plan, savings and investing hacking, and know how and when you're going to exit the transaction treadmill. Now, I mentioned if you stayed on today, by the way, congratulations for everybody staying on. I don't know if anyone left, Nicole, so you did an amazing job on preparing these folks for a financial conversation. My gift to you for staying here is I wrote the ebook, How to Create Stress-Free Wealth, and you can download it for free at financialmistakes.com, 5financialmistakes.com. 5financialmistakes.com. Now I'm going to type that in the chat. Each one of you can just copy and paste that into your browser. And I know today has stoked some fires. I know today is starting you to think a little differently. It's not to question what you've done in the past. It's to address what you've done in the past, come up with where you are today, and how do you want to continue moving forward. Download the ebook, read it. It's 26-minute read. Most of us are scrolling Instagram mindlessly for 26 minutes throughout the day. Don't do that today. Read the ebook. And if you're interested in going down the road, I created the Wealth Department. The Wealth Department is my 12-week group coaching program. This is where we talk about and set up every one of these things so it's easy and not chaos, and it's not stressful. Do this, talk about it. Do this, talk about it. Do this, talk about it. For 12 weeks. And there are some of you that'll be like, that's my next step. Some of you, your next step's the ebook. Some of you, group coaching. It's the #1 place I can help people in a conversation just like this over the course of 3 months. And if that's interesting to you, reach out to me on Instagram, download the ebook, reach out to me on Instagram and say, hey, what's it look like to be in the Wealth Department? And I'd love to have that conversation with you. And even if it's not about the Wealth Department, it's like, hey, this is where my husband and I are. This is where my partner and I are. This is where my business is. Let's talk. This is not the time where we go into our shell, we become a lobster, and we go back into the sand and just keep doing what we've been doing, because we'll always keep getting what we're getting. It's okay to be where you are. It's not okay to stay there. My name is Matt Plumer, financial coach from Las Vegas, Nevada, and you're only one budget away, and it's just math. I appreciate your time. Thanks for today.
Thank you, Matt. That was so good. I know. So what's funny is the very first time I ever met Dan, he came and hosted an event with us. And that was the first book he gave away was Profit First. He was like, if you have not read this book, you have to read it. And here I am like 5 years later, and I'm like trying to read it. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't, I can't wrap my brain around this. But what you're doing is awesome. And I'm excited. I know Emily joined your coaching, so she's going to be doing that. So that's exciting. And I hope we get some other people on here who want to be a part of that as well.
Yeah. And I want to open it up. We have a few minutes. I do not, there are people on here, like this is the, you know, this isn't necessarily where you need to want or air your dirty laundry, but this is also the place that, hey, I have a question on X, Y, or Z on what you said. And let's take the next 3 to 5 minutes and talk about that, because I want to just give everyone some peace and relieve the it's easy for like anxiety and stress to get up like this when we talk money in a group of like people we know or people that are strangers. And I just want to let everyone know that A, it's okay, and B, half the people that are on this Zoom are going to watch it later are thinking the exact same thing, because we're all real estate agents and we all have the same challenges. Some of us are just at different seasons or different chapters. So what questions or what things that I say or talk about or bring up that you would like an answer or some clarity around before we go? You invested the time and energy here. Let's do it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so this past year, I have 3 in college. One's in med school, one's in PT school, and one's in an undergraduate. But this year, we have had way more going out than we had coming in. And last summer, we had 2 internships that were required by my children's profession that they were studying to be, they had to do out of state interns. So one was in Texas and one was in Tennessee. If you're in college, you have 3 months of, or you pay rent year to year. So this summer, past summer, we had over $8,000 just in rent and Airbnbs going out, which is about what my husband's take home is a month. So that kind of lets you know that we got pretty severely behind. I got a letter yesterday from the courthouse that I need to pay my real estate taxes by the 15th, where they could sell my property. So I'm actually waiting on a closing today to hopefully do that. I mean, that's the first thing I got to do is take care of the bleeding that could cause a financial downfall.
Yep.
But we are still trying to dig out of that hole. While we're digging out of that hole, would you try to be setting money aside? I mean, we're operating at a deficit. So would you just, I'm overwhelmed with where to even start. I'm just trying to stop the bleeding at this point.
Yeah. Angie, I know there's other people in the room, but I'm talking to you, right? I want to congratulate you on your bravery for saying that in a room of friends and strangers, number one.
You're gonna make me cry.
Well, that's okay. I've never lost a patient, so you're okay. I want you to protect your 4 walls. The most important thing is Angie and her family.
Okay.
Visa and MasterCard do not matter at this point, or
Okay.
whatever your Visa and MasterCard are,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. I need you to make sure you have heat and utilities. I need to make sure there's food on the table. I need to make sure your shelter is protected, right? And we can get from point A to point B to go sell houses.
Okay.
Like, I might go on a limb here, but is Angie okay on close for the next 15 to 30 days?
Yes. I mean, I'm not
Okay.
worried, which that's
Right.
not like my
Right, but
kids
I'm
didn't get
think
Easter.
about
I'm
that,
not
right?
gonna be back candy.
Yeah, right. So like, hey, what do we need? And I want you to go into a mindset of I need to get from the 1st of the month to the 30th of the month. What's required?
Okay.
What do we have to do? Not need to do, not want to do, have to do. We have to pay our real estate taxes. We have to make sure that we have money for gas, food, and electricity, and water. We have to make sure that there is food in the house, not necessarily ribeyes and avocados and Greek yogurt. Right? This might be the season where we really get creative on the different versions of peanut butter and jelly. whatever it takes to get from A to B. So if you're in that season, it's whatever it takes for 15 days to just get from A to B, or for 30 days.
Right.
My wife and I had two luxury cars 12 years ago, and we were able to short sell one of them and go to a one-car family. Oh, just thinking about that just brings me back to that moment. But it was just for 90 days. Could we figure out how to get from my house to Starbucks, to pick her up in Tyson's Corner, back to our house, maybe go run a couple appointments, go see a couple of houses? Like, could we figure it out? And we did for 90 days. And we were able to save up enough money. So as you're going through this, yes, the other part of your question is, I don't pay things off, just stack and stack and stack and stack and stack, because it might come again until the next closing. And then I want you to go another 30 days. And we might be able to add some more stuff in, or go back and pay some Visa or MasterCard to get caught up. But we're just moving the ball down the field. You're doing the best you can with what you know. Because for that 90 days, we drove one car. And I'm like, hey, if we can do it in 90 days, could we do it another 90 days and stack up another $3,000 to $5,000? And the answer was yes. What I thought was going to last 90 days lasted 9 years. And we drove one car for a decade. Not saying that's what you have to do, but as you go through this, your mind starts to change, and you don't have to do the things that you think you have to do. You slaughter the sacred cows, and you just get from A to B and stack cash, because we're going to have to fight this fire again. But I want you to get that much space and time and energy to go get 2 listings under contract, or 2 buyers under agreement. Because that's going to start, that is your 293 to 289 moment. And then we do it for 30 days, and that gets you to your 278 moment. And you just stack, you keep stacking those wins and wins and wins. And Angie, I want you to download my ebook. I want you to read it. I talk a little bit about the sacrifice and delay gratification in there. And I want you to shoot me a message on Instagram, and we'll walk through it. Great question, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Anyone else before the world of internet turns us off? Bill, I saw your message. Let's make sure we connect, man. Melissa, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate it. Thanks for giving us that book. And then I know you had said that you're starting your group coaching tomorrow, I think you said. Is there still room left for people to join that if they want to? And how do they get a hold of you? Is that just messaging?
Yeah, Instagram, the link for the group, I'll just drop it in here, is the wealth department. And I mentioned that it does start tomorrow. It doesn't mean that you have to sign up on day one. Trust me, my metrics would love it if I launched with more people, but you start today, you start next week, you start next month. Like, if this is your journey, if this is your time, do it, because there are multiple different ways that you can sign up and pay and all of that stuff. And everything's recorded. It's in a group. It'll be in a membership platform. It's in a Facebook group. It'll eventually be in a membership platform. There'll be modules. There's going to be trackers, or how to do a budget, how to do profit first, how to have conversation with your spouse. Like, all of the stuff that brings chaos and stress will be discussed and unpacked inside of the wealth department.
Awesome.
And it's 12 weeks. It's not 12 years.
Love it.
So
Well,
I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Nicole, you are an angel, and thank you so much for inviting me on and allowing me to talk on your platform. And thank you all very much. I appreciate it. And Nicole and Nikki's platform.
thank you. We appreciate you being here. You guys come back next week. Offhand, I can't remember what it is, but we'll be back next Tuesday and with Nikki and I. Matt, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We'll see you in Cabo next year.
You bet.
All right.
See y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Matt.
All right.